Okay, can you hear me in the back? It sounds like I can hear me up here. So, I'm Brian Poole. I'm the tech coordinator at National Trail Local Schools. I also do all of our PD as far as technology-related stuff, and I teach A+ hardware as well as some advanced technologies classes. I am recording this session as long as everything goes well. On the second slide of this will be the recording afterwards. This presentation is about Moodle, Moodle 3.0, and what Moodle will do for you. So if you've never used Moodle before, there's going to be a lot of new things. If you've used Moodle, you might see some things a little bit differently if you haven't upgraded to the newest version of Moodle yet. I learned about Moodle back in 2005 here at OETC, and I will tell you, if you were here back then, about 20% of every presentation in 2006 and 2007 were probably about Moodle, because it was the newest, greatest thing out there. That was the only LMS that was really out on the market for us, K-12 wise. It was free and open source. There were many other things that have come after Moodle, but there's none that is as powerful as Moodle is and does everything that Moodle does. So, let's see. My mouse, of course, isn't working. Fantastic. Let me see if I get over here on this side, maybe it'll work then. It's working, but it's not working. You know what, it stopped working when I started the Google presentation thing, and I may have to stop that. See if it starts working when I go back to normal. There we go. A little bit about my background. You don't need to know, I already told you everything that is important. So, the big thing is, why do you need an LMS, and why should it be important to you? If you're doing a one-to-one program and you don't have an LMS, in my opinion, you're wrong. You should have one. There should be some way for you teachers to deliver content. And when I talk about LMS, I'm not talking about Progress Book. Progress Book is not an LMS. It's a fantastic gradebook system that lets you post stuff. It's not the same thing as a learning management system that lets students interact with things online on a daily basis. Those are two totally different things. You can manage all your activities and have guided things that are completely online. It's always accessible blended learning. If you've gone to any blended learning classes today or yesterday, Moodle is a great way to do blended learning. And if you're looking to go paperless, you can go completely paperless with Moodle, as you can with Google Classroom and other ways to do things as well. So Moodle stands for Module Object-Oriented Dynamic Learning Environment. It's free, it's open source, it's like Progress Book on steroids. It's like Canvas or Blackboard, but free. It can be used on any device with internet access, just like many of these products. Moodle has a different view if you're viewing it from a phone or from a tablet, and you can set those things up. It's hosted and run from any web server anywhere. You can do that internally, or there are some paid options. If you see links like this during my presentation, it means there's something else that you can look at later. This in particular opens up to, I think, a 50-page document on how to install Moodle that I made back in 2010 for a presentation back then that I gave the technology coordinators on how to do it. So if you're looking to do it, that book is going to do a pretty good job of getting you started. It can be installed on almost any machine. Hello? On almost any machine. The first time I did it was on just a piece of junk that was in the closet. And it has evolved at our school district to where every single class, K through 12, is a Moodle class. And so we have a little beefier server than that anymore. But when we first started, it was just me and the business teacher next door and a couple other teachers were trying it out, and it evolved to the point where the superintendent finally said, every single class will be a Moodle class, every grade book will be a Moodle grade book. So every single thing we do at my school district, K through 12, is through Moodle. Moodle does integrate with SIS. I wrote a code, which is, again, it's all open source, and I've uploaded it to the repository that makes every single time a secretary adds somebody to a class on Dazzle, the next day that student is in the class in Moodle. It automatically enrolls them. All of our grade books are through Moodle, and I have at the end optional levels of staff involvement by staff. Everybody at our district has to have their grades in Moodle. That's the only thing they have to have. It has to be our version of Progress Book that parents and students can go to any day and see what their grades are. I will say that at least 50% of the teachers are far past that, and probably 25% of them, that's all it is a nice grade book. What it looks like when a student logs on, this is one of my students, I've linked out their name. When they log on, they see their list of courses, they see their grades, just like what they would with something like Progress Book. And I only mention that not because I have anything against Progress Book. Every other school in my county is a Progress Book school. Most of the ones in our consortium are Progress Book, so most people, at least in my area, know what that is. So it shows their classes, and these are all links that go straight to their classes. It shows their unified calendar, which shows any assignment from any class all together on a calendar. It shows any upcoming events. Because this student is in my class, and I put the conference in my class schedule so they do when I be gone, it's showing that as an upcoming event. Parent-teacher conferences are showing up, but any class assignments or anything would show up in their upcoming events that are here. And these other things are configurable. I made the links that are on the left-hand side so that they would have easy access to things like Info Ohio, our website, the library site, and those kind of things. So those things are on the home page, all made by you. And then in the classes themselves, it depends on the teacher what the class looks like. We have, I think, 15 different themes loaded into Moodle, so you can make it look a bunch of different ways. But then it's up to the teacher, especially at our site, they can choose a separate theme. So while our site looks one way, you can make your class look a different way if you want to. Sorry about this, it's moving around as I talk. And then how the teacher sets up the course itself is up to them. So I'm just going to click on this course to kind of show you. Hopefully it opens on this page. Yep. This particular teacher, this English teacher, has all of her things on. Well, this is going to be hard with two screens. I should have maybe done one screen because now I'm moving the wrong one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do what I want to do. She keeps all the things on her Moodle class on one page. That's one option for a teacher to do. That is not, and the highlighted one is the section that the students are currently on. I may have to switch back to split screen. To clone screen here. We'll see how this works. And that just messed me up there. Let's see if I can go back. Whereas like my page, this is my hardware course, you can have the class set up so that basically these are the chapters in the course, that only the chapters show up like it's an index of the course. And then the student will click on that chapter to go into the material that's in that particular chapter. And again, they're highlighted, so if they're in now, they're only looking at this one, and they can navigate through the course by looking through the chapters up here with the links to navigate through there. I'm going to talk, this is just kind of showing you some example of what some Moodle course pages look like. We're going to look at actual what the different things are. And the biology teacher has this set up the same way as mine with the links. I already said there's different ways to configure it. This is the same course show with every different theme that we have loaded into Moodle, just to show you that there is some individuality that you can build in for your staff members. If they want theirs to look different, all the elementary ones look like this because they like that one. It looks more like an elementary school thing, and different teachers pick different themes for their course, but the one that you're seeing most of the time is the default theme that they didn't go in. So Moodle's broken down into two different things. They're called resources and activities. Resources are things to see, view, or read. If you've got just a URL linked to something, that's a resource. They're not doing anything other than reading that. So that's how resources are defined. And activities are those things that students interact with and can do inside of Moodle. And the ways these are used are completely up to you. Some teachers only use one kind of activity in their whole course. Some teachers use a different kind, but all those are open up to any teacher that wants, as they're building their course. So these are the resources that are available to teachers that are listed down the left-hand side. When they go to add a resource, they just click on which resource they want. Moodle has a big pop-up that explains it to them if they don't know exactly what it is. And I've got some links to some examples of some of the one of the resources is just to have a link in your course to other websites. So I've got one that's set up that's a whole bunch of technology resources when they're doing research, and all those are a whole bunch of links there that then students go out and can view on the outside. And I don't know what I just opened up there. Didn't mean to click something. You can have internal Moodle web pages. You can link to documents like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, any file that you have on your computer, you can put on Moodle and have it linked so students can click on it and either download it to their own device or open it on their own device. You can put pictures in there, you can embed videos inside, and you can have online file directories or RSS feeds. All those are the kind of resources that you can have. One of the things I do in my class is when I'm using and I'll click on some of these, an internal web page. This is actually a Moodle page. I don't know how I'm doing that. There we go. A Moodle page, but it's from somewhere else. You see my works cited at the bottom that I took it from another resource. Many times as a teacher, you'll find a great resource that you want a student to read, and next year it's gone. And you're like, crap, I really liked that article. I really liked that site. So sometimes I'll take copy the best content of that site, put it in the works cited at the bottom, and make it accessible so that it can't go away from where I want to present it on my Moodle site. When I talk about documents, some teachers have a lot of documents that they use in their class besides just normal ones, but like in the accounting class, he's got a bunch of Word documents and Excel spreadsheets that students go and interact with and then re-upload as part of his course. When it comes to videos, you can embed other people's YouTubes inside your class. This is an example of me using YouTube along with Edpuzzle. And if you've never used Edpuzzle, it's a fantastic free resource to allow you to post a YouTube that they have to watch. When we go and normally put in a YouTube video in our site, we hope they went to it, but how do we know they went to it? Edpuzzle logs whether they went to the video, whether they watched the video. You can't fast forward the video, and you can embed questions and quizzes into the video. I actually didn't see an Edpuzzle presentation at this conference, but I learned about this at one of the conferences. It's a great tool for blended learning. So we do that and use Edpuzzle when we embed video content in our classes. I also record in my Moodle class every single class that I do and embed them right in the website so that if a student misses a class, those are presentations, let's see. If they miss the class, then the YouTube of the class is right there on the course calendar so that they can come in or from home, just play the video, or if there's something I went over that they didn't get a chance to catch the first time around. I do that in my class. In our school, we have USB mics just like this one mounted above every single digital whiteboard in every single classroom, so the teachers have the opportunity when they're doing any kind of a presentation to just hit record, and they'll get their presentation just like we're doing today, along with the audio, and they can embed it in their calendar or put it in activities. It's one of the things I've been suggesting staff at my school do all the time. I've been recording every class, every lesson for the last 4 years. And so when I'm gone like today, and I've got a class in my hardware, all I have to do is go to my own YouTube site, pick that class that I'm missing, Edpuzzle it, and throw some questions in it, and the kids get the exact same lesson they would have gotten otherwise. So resources are great, but resources are what you can do on anything. If you've got Progress Book, you can post resources right now. Most of those things you could do with any good gradebook system is have those kind of things already set up. What you can't do, I already said this, is video recording is one of the things I really, really think is a great tool for teachers for intervention and for review. And I already said that. I posted the calendar. If you have smart devices, the smart recorder works out perfectly fine. It's great. If you don't have it, OBS Studio is a free download, lets you record everything on the screen, lets you use a separate camera if you want to. I actually use Smart Recorder and OBS Studio. because when I'm doing stuff in the classroom, I actually have a USB camera above my whiteboard that points down at the first desk. So if I'm demoing something, I can just hit F4, the camera comes on, and now the stuff that I'm working on in the class is getting recorded as well. It's really, really nice. And I post everything in my class calendar, so the student comes in and goes, what did we do on Thursday? I don't answer the question. I said, look on the site, you know what we did on Thursday. So activities. Activities are what makes Moodle great. The list here on the left-hand side is the default activities that comes loaded in Moodle when you first install it. The list on the right are what we have in ours. And one of the great things about Moodle is that there are thousands of colleges, high schools, businesses around the world that use Moodle, and all of it's open source. And so there are all kinds of things that people add on later that then they add to the Moodle repository and say, hey, we made this module available. And so you can see our list of things that teachers can add is much more extended than the default list, because there are some great things that teachers really like to do that we've added. And I'm going to go over a couple of these and show you what they are, and not really go over the extended ones, I'm really going over mainly the default ones. So assignments are what we do on a normal basis. When you give a student an assignment and say you're going to turn this paper back in and I'm going to put it in the grade book, the assignment activity is how that happens. However, it allows you to do it all online. And I don't even have a link to an offline option. It just means you put an assignment there and you're going to collect it. Okay? The upload or online submission options allow you to have them upload up to 20 documents. You set how many things are going to be uploaded on that assignment. Online submissions allows you to have them type it right there online in an upload assignment. And in all these, it allows you to put the entire, I picked one with a bad link there, sorry about that. Allow you to put the entire assignment explanation in there. In this case, the assignment explanation is there along with the YouTube video in there, so they fully understand what this assignment is. So if they go home and forget what you said, they can watch the video. In this online assignment at the bottom, if the student was logged in, right here at the bottom it would say edit my submission. They click on it, it opens up an online editor, and they type in their submission right there. It's a normal mid-range editor, and it lets you know when they submitted it, how many words the submission was. It does spelling checking and all that kind of good stuff as well. I think this is the link that I meant to have. This is a upload. It's a major project in this class, and there's a lot of text there to explain what it is. And then at the bottom, they just have a button that says upload my submission. If I was logged in, yeah, I don't need login share. If I was logged in, the button as a teacher says grade instead of upload, and that then allows you to see all the uploaded assignments next to the kids' names. You can click right on the PowerPoints and they open up on your computer. There's no reason for them to give them to you because they just gave them all to you right there in Moodle. So this activity is the kind of, I would say, what I would call the standard one that most students or most teachers use on a daily basis. Is how they build every single assignment in their class. It automatically goes in the grade book. It automatically tabulates the points, and it has a really easy way for you to enter your grades. Allows parents to see what the assignment is. I don't hand out any pieces of paper. The whole assignment is in that web page so they can go and review it any time. So parents can see what the assignment is. You can see all those. I'm not logged in now. You can see all those things without being logged in. The logged in part just allows them to submit one, or in my case, to grade one. But the parents can go into the class and see all those things without being logged in. Allows for projects, and really for paperless. There's no reason for students to type up anything. They just submit Word articles. If it's a paper, you obviously can still do paper if you wanted to in your school, but it really allows you to do most things non-paper. And like I said, this is what I would consider the regular activity. Moodle has a chat where it allows for an open discussion board inside the course, kind of like an online back channel in your course. Some teachers use this to allow students to ask questions in a larger classroom, and other students are allowed to answer it. You can see the entire chat log. It's there forever. You just need to tell your students, just so you know, I review the chat log later, I don't want anything stupid being said in there. You can have it open at certain times and close at certain times. You can monitor it real time on your other monitor if you have a second monitor in your classroom. I use the chat whenever I'm doing reserve duty. I have it open the entire time, so if students have questions in my class when I'm not there, they just type it in the chat and I answer with their questions. It doesn't allow any outside guests or students that aren't part of that particular class. That's not a Moodle thing, it's a this class thing. So if you're not enrolled in this class and part of this class, you can't see the chat, which makes it a safe way to have questions and answers open all the time if you want to get students an answer. The Moodle choice is like a one-question survey, sort of. It allows students to choose things in your class. I use this intensively when I'm doing my projects in my classroom so that everyone's not doing the same thing. At most, if I only have maybe 5 different choices for projects, I can then limit it and say nobody can choose this more than twice. And so as soon as 2 people have chosen to do that project, now it's closed and you have to choose one of the other ones. So choices are nice ways to differentiate and deconflict presentations in a class. I don't know if this will work since I'm not logged in. Yeah, it did. So in this particular class, these were the presentation options, and the students went in and just picked which ones. And that one I set up so only one thing was available for each person as part of that memory presentation that they did last week. So when you do go to, I just kind of have this one to show, when you pick any of these things in Moodle, it's very user-friendly. When you click on something, it has a big explanation of what that thing is for. So if you get Moodle, no one needs to really give you a huge amount of training because there's so much available online and there's so much built into Moodle itself that explains things as you go. It has a thing called feedback, which is really a survey. I don't know why it's not called survey. Well, I do because they have a survey that's really not a survey that's built into it. It's customizable. You can make it anonymous. I use it in my class for every single section. When they come into class, that's my startup class activity. They do an I can statement review where they answer how they feel about where, that I do have to be logged into, how they feel about where they are in the current chapter. It says, I can explain the difference between DDR and SD-RAM, yes or no. And every class they come in and re-answer those questions, and I use that as a feedback so that before I give the chapter test, I know where this class feels about all the material before I move forward. So that's what the feedback activity does. Forums are just forums. Moodle forums work out great. A lot of teachers use them. They're asynchronous discussions. Most people know what a forum is. This is an example of a forum that was done in the biology class. This is what the assignment was in there. And then students, went too far, and then students go and give their discussion, and other students go and then discuss what they discuss. And you can make all these things that are activities gradable. In fact, you can make them gradable by other students. So you can say everybody has to post a forum discussion about this, and you have to go grade 2 other people's discussion about what they said. That you have to moderate because some people would be just mean and not give appropriate grades, but you can, and that's what this rating is right here on his. He's allowing the other students to go in and rate each other on their forum posts. And there's 4 different ways to set up forums. You can say that you can't see what anybody else said until you've done your post. There's multiple ways to set that up, but it's really nice. The forum discussion activity in Moodle is very beneficial in many classes to get students that don't raise their hands in class to give feedback in class. And by the way, I didn't say this, we're a one-to-one district in the high school, so a lot of these activities we're doing every single class, every single day as part of the things that we accomplish in class. The Moodle journal activity is basically an open writing assignment, just like if you were in an English class and they said, here's your journal book, I want you to journal every day or whatever. You can have students go in and continually edit their journals. Again, these are gradable, so when you can use them just as easily as an open-ended writing assignment where I ask a question in my class and everybody, or a set of questions, and everybody uses the journal activity to answer. Well, you can't read that very well, but so they went through and they had to answer all these questions in their journal posting after reading a particular article. Video just keeps jumping. Nope, too far. Glossaries are just that. Each class can set up its own glossary of terms and terminology. I didn't use the glossary for a long time, but it turns out there's a whole bunch of cool games that can be linked to the glossary that you can do in your class with your kids. And I've got a couple of those examples on here. You can have a full glossary of terms for each chapter and have a crossword puzzle embedded that automatically makes the whole crossword puzzle based on your glossary. You can do a hangman game that's all off your glossary, and it can be a graded activity that, hey, during your free time at the end of class, you've got to play hangman until you get a 10 out of 10 on that assignment, and it's all over glossary terms. There's a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game that we added that basically works through glossary terms in the chapter and allows them to do the phone a friend, to poll the audience, and it's the kids really enjoy doing that one, but it's a way for me to get them to interact with Moodle and to go over my content and make sure they understand all the terms and terminology before you go on. So I actually just recently started building glossaries in my chapters so that I could do some of these other activities that are linked to the glossary. You can make the glossary an assignment in that, hey, you've got to add four new terms every week from things that you learned in my class. And the kids can go in and edit and build the glossary in your class for you. Online lessons in Moodle are awesome, but like I said down here, they can be very time intensive to set up, but they can really be worth it. A Moodle lesson is a guided activity that you make that basically you have either URL reading or embedded video, and then they go and get questions on it, and based on how they answered the question, you can have it fork out into a number of different directions. If you have 4 questions, it can break up to 4 different ways. If they answered A, now their lesson's going here. If they answered B, now their lesson's going here. So there is a lot that can be confusing on the lesson. I've got one teacher who does everything with lessons, 8th grade social studies teacher, and everything they do in their class, they come in immediately, sit down and do reading and do a lesson, and if they get the question wrong, it takes them to supplemental reading. If they get their question right, it takes them to more advanced reading. So lessons are really cool, but like I said, they can be very time intensive to set up. They're self-grading. This is a pretty basic one that I set up. Basically, they go through, they watch videos. Let's see if I can get my mouse down there. And then after they watch the video, then they answer questions, and based on how they answer the question will determine where they go next. Whether they go back to a different supplemental video over the one covering the same material that they didn't just get because they got it wrong, or they continue on with what's next in that particular stream. So it's pretty cool. It's one of the most powerful things that Moodle does as far as activities, but it's also one of the ones that you have to put a little bit of time into to get it set up. Moodle does tests awesome, and down along the left-hand or right-hand side here is all the different kinds of questions that you can set up in Moodle. And you can see this is multiple choice. Can you guys read that from the back fine? I think it's hard to read from here, so that's why. So multiple choice, true, false, short answer, numerical questions, calculated essay matching, random short answer matching, embedded matching, closed questions, calculated multiple choice questions, calculated simple questions, drag and drop text, drag and drop markers, drag and drop an image. Those are all new with Moodle 3.0 and are awesome, by the way. I've added those in all my tests. And select matching or select missing words. And so these new ones down here at the bottom more closely match a lot of the online testing software that kids are seeing today, where they read something and pick what word is the right word that completes this sentence. And they have a whole list of words, and they have to drag it up into the question. The drag and drop image and markers, you can make it so, and this is what I do in my class. It used to be, it was really hard for me to say, figure out if they knew the different parts this hardware class, of a motherboard. Now I can just have a picture of a motherboard with a whole bunch of words down here, and they have to drop the markers in the right spot on the whole thing. And my biology teacher is using it now because now he can just have a picture of a cell with all the parts of the cell at the bottom, and they drag and drop what parts of the cell, the labels of the cell up into the test. So they're awesome. I use them for quizzes. I use them for formative all the time. And obviously I use them for summative as well. They can be used as little time things at the end. I do online blended learning that are really quizzes where they watch a video and then they take a quiz. And the first page of the quiz is the video, and then from there on out, I want to see whether they got the material, and so I use formative quizzes for that. You can import test banks. We've got 4 teachers who imported their entire ExamView test bank into Moodle, so every single question that they had there is now in Moodle, and then they edit them and tweak them the way they want to, and all that stuff that they normally would have to do separately is all through Moodle, self-grading. The only thing that it doesn't grade on its own is an essay question, and it keeps that off on the side, and at the end the kid knows that those essay questions hasn't been marked, graded, and it just says grade essays, and you go there and it shows all the essay answers and you grade them. It's pretty easy. The great thing about Moodle quizzes is the data, because after I get done with the Chapter 5 test, I used to never have a way of knowing of what was the most missed question on the test? What did kids not understand? In my entire Moodle test bank now, the start of every question is the I can statement number, so 5-1, and then the question name. So I can go and export it to Excel and know within 2 minutes that which I can statement did they not get. 50% of the kids missed all questions that were attached to ICANN 5-2 or whatever. And when I review the test itself, I can order the test questions by the most missed, so I can see 30% of the kids missed this question, or I've had it where 70% of the kids missed this question. I did something, if 70% of the kids missed a question, I did something wrong as a teacher, right? That's not the kid's fault, in my opinion. I either didn't explain it right, or the question was bad, one of those two. But if I explained it well and the question's good, 70% of the kids aren't going to miss it. So it's a way for us to see really easily and quickly what they got. Not just, if kids got 75%, I said, oh, with a 75% average, I'm moving on. But one of them, there's 0% got that one part. That's something I need to cover just because the majority of the data people got. So I use the quiz module, as do many of the staff members, a lot of my class. It does do podcasting. Really, it used to, if you had the old version of Moodle, there was a podcasting module. Now you just hook it up into the forum and automatically does the RSS feed for you. I do have those in my class as well. Moodle does blogging. I wouldn't do it if I was you. That's one of the modules I don't recommend in Moodle, because if you turn on blogging in Moodle, it lets every single student have a personal blog on the Moodle server, and we have a problem with filtering all those blogs. I don't have time to read through them all, and it would require every teacher to read through every blog post. I have Moodle blogging turned off. We have a WordPress server for blogging, and that's the only place students can blog as part of a course at our school. So that's one of the ones I would say is not great. Anybody who does them uses the WordPress server, or just uses the forum as their discussion area within Moodle. It has Wiki. The Wiki works pretty well. I will tell you, though, that since we became a Google district, most teachers don't use the Wiki. Because, like every other wiki, multiple people can't edit the same wiki page at the same time, whereas with Google Docs, if I just make it a Google Doc that's shared to my class and put the link in Moodle, now everybody in the class can edit it at the same time. So I will say I don't know that if anybody is using the Wiki module anymore, probably other than me, and it's a wiki for my tech stuff that is very rarely edited. Because it's stuff where me and my tech kids keep track of things. But most people just use a Google Doc instead of a wiki anymore because of the ease of editing. I already said these are the default ones, and these are the added-on activities. Adding on activities is simple in the new version of Moodle. If you ever had one of the old ones and you had to go through the huge pain of adding an activity, in the new version of Moodle, you can see there's 1,286 plugins right now that are available to add to Moodle. The act of adding a plugin is as simple as clicking on the plugin, clicking the Install Now button. So you'd have to have administrative access to your Moodle server to do this. But if I said, hey, I really want to add stash, which I did. And by the way, if you're looking at gamification, Moodle gamifies awesome. I have all my classes gamified. My kids all get badges automatically. They go up in levels. Stash is really cool. It's a way of embedding Easter eggs throughout your site that they have to collect the stash and put it in their stash folder, and they get points for how much stash they find, so they don't just click on the website and then leave. They click on the website and read it until they can find their Easter egg and put it in their thing. So Moodle also does restricted activity and activity completion, which means that, for instance, in the current section my students are in, they don't see 90% of what's in Chapter 7. Until they do these 3 activities, this doesn't even show up. And they'll finish an activity, and then all of a sudden they'll be back at the page, and there's something new there. Which is part of gamification, is making things happen as a result of other actions, right? That the kids do something and something else happens, and that's one of the things that Stash did. But anyway, so you just hit the Install Now. I have 3 Moodle sites. One of them is a test server. It then lists your Moodle sites. You hit Install, click Continue, click Upgrade, and you're done. And that new thing is in your database. So these are the ones that aren't line through, are the ones that we've added onto Moodle. And I kind of wanted to go through them for you guys to let you know which ones are pretty cool. Okay? Active Quiz is awesome. If you've ever used Socrative, where you can direct things to the students' laptops and have them answer questions, that's exactly what Active Quiz does. My kids log into the Active Quiz. Now there's nothing on their laptops until I hit a button, and then they all get questions, and then they all answer the question where I'm at in my presentation or our discussion, and then I hit next, and it shows what everybody answered and how many people got right and got wrong. It's just like that. It's built directly in the Moodle, and it uses your quiz database plus anything else you want to add. So all the things that are already in your quiz are already there. The attendance module, just that. We only take daily attendance at our school, so there's no way for you as a teacher to know who missed your class. I use the attendance module. I put the name of every lecture in there, and I take attendance on my kids. It can be graded. I have PE teachers that use that for their grade. That every day it's not really attendance, they use that module to give the kids between 1 and 5 points on how they did in PE that day. And it just calculates their grade at the end of the quarter, and that's the only thing they do. A book, and there's a book down right underneath here that you can't see. The Moodle book is pretty cool. Sorry, they used to give us water. It allows you to add text, URLs, videos into a chapter format, and this embeds questions in with them too. Crossword puzzle and cryptex, just use that glossary to build those. You can build crossword puzzles and cryptexes anywhere in your class. Flashcard set also uses the glossary to build flashcards for kids to be able to go through and see how well they know the information. Hangman is just that. It's Hangman off the glossary. I haven't used hidden picture. I got it there twice. Hot is just that. If you build hot potato stuff and you've ever done that before, it incorporates perfectly in with Moodle. The journal activity, I showed you already. It's going away, or it became appreciated in Moodle, but it's still an add-on, and we use that a lot. A lot of our English teachers use the journal. Millionaire is just that. He wants to be a millionaire. It's pretty cool. Quiz Venture. If anybody played Galaga, remember Galaga? That's QuizVenture with all your questions. The questions come flying down, you have a little N that goes below it, and you have to shoot the right answer to make all the other answers explode and go away. So all these answers are floating down at you as you're going back and forth, and they shoot at you. The middle school kids love that one, but it's still testing them on their knowledge in the class. They have to shoot the right answer to win the game. Snakes and ladders is just that. Again, it's built off the glossary. I don't know how to play Sudoku, so it builds that off the glossary as well. And then the Wiki module, I already said, most people aren't using that one anymore. Okay, grades can be maintained there as a sole online grading tool. That's what we use in our grades 5 through 12. I am not going to lie to you. Worst part of Moodle, without question. The worst part of Moodle. And the reason I say that is the grades aren't terrible, but it was built for a college level professor that probably only has 10 things, right? In college, you don't get a lot of grades. You don't have separate quarters. You don't have summative and formative. They just have some grades in there, and this work would work great for a college. But, you know, we're using different quarters. We have different grades based on the quarters, and then we have other blocks built in there. And it can get very large and very cumbersome. I went through our code and basically made it so that if something's hidden, it doesn't show up in the Moodle gradebook at all, so that teachers just hide quarter 1 and quarter 2, or in quarter 3 now. That's the only thing that shows up. But that's not how it works by default. And so I'm not, of all the things in Moodle, this gets the lowest grade as far as I'm concerned. Okay? It is an alternative. It's always right. It just gets confusing for people sometimes. So I would say if you're just looking for an online gradebook, Moodle is not the answer in my opinion at all. If you're looking to do all the other things and have grades on at the same time, it's a great option. Just like anything else, students can see their grades. Parents can access their grades. Basically what we do every year is we mail home the student's username and password at the beginning of the quarter, and they are locked from changing them, or at the beginning of the year, and they're locked from changing them unless they contact me because they gave their password to somebody else and somebody's messing with them, kind of thing. That way parents have access all year long to see their students' grades. We had to customize it to make it the way we really liked it, and I will tell you that's going to be my project this summer because we just upgraded to 3.0 this past summer. We had been on Moodle 1.9 for probably 6 years. And the reason we were on Moodle 1.9 so long is because of all the other customizations we did. Because it's open source, you can do all kinds of stuff. Our grades K through 4 use Moodle. It's an all indicator-based gradebook. All the grade cards get printed out of Moodle. Teachers put in all their indicator grades on Moodle. And so it was a very large project to build that in the first place, and I didn't want to redo it all. When I went to Moodle 3.0, there were enough things that it did new, and 1.9 was out of support that I decided it was time to move on. The interim reports is one of the things that I built, and I've uploaded this one into the Moodle repository. One of the things that it doesn't have is an easy way for administration and teachers to see how everybody's doing. So what this set of reports is, if you hit the high school interims in your class, it's going to print out the high school interims for everybody in your class. And what we do is, first period Brown Day, everybody prints out the interims. That DF report lets me see every person in my class that's got a D or an F. The all high school students DNF report allows anybody can do it, but it allows the high school office to see who's in problems, having problems in the school for interventions. One stop, I hit the button and I see who's not doing well in what classes, and there's a high school mail out so that we mail those grades out to teachers as well, or to parents as well. And down here are the interim reports, and if I click on it, we're not in an elementary school class, so you won't see anything, but that's how the elementary school teachers get all of their indicator-based report cards as well. And something like this, it's not like it was rocket science for me to build this. It's PHP It's all open source. You can look at other people's code to try to figure out how to do stuff, and you can add it to your own Moodle course as well. And we upload our grades to Dazzle at the end of the grade period. Why Moodle? I think it's an amazing tool to give a teacher, and the limitation is only to their imagination how they want to use the tool in the classroom. It's free, but does take somebody to set it up to administer it in the first place. Unless you pay for it, there are places that you can pay to have it set up and administered for you. If you want to try it out, I'm done. I know I'm at my time. If you want to try it out, if you go to school.demo.moodle.net, it lets you log in as a manager, a teacher, or a student. The password for either one of those is just the word Moodle, and it would allow you to try it. So if you wanted to see what it's like to do any of these Moodle activities, all you have to do is click on that, and I can't see the login here. It's just too high resolution, but if you click to say login, you'd be able to pick teacher as your login, and you can go and play with Moodle on your own. It resets every night. Realize there are other teachers playing with it too. If you go in as a manager, you can make your own course and then play with your own course as much as you want to. It even lets you download the course when you're done, so you can theoretically set up a whole course and download it when you're done at the end of the day and upload it to your own server. So you can try anything you want to right there if you're interested in trying what Moodle has to do. I've got some links at the end, our Moodle site and that demo page, and I'm going to upload this presentation. No one's really been talking about Moodle, I don't think, at the conference for a couple years, and I think it's because those of us that have it already have it. But those schools that don't, I think they've been looking at a lot of different paid options. And I will tell you that there are some great paid options out there. The number one, I think, right now is probably Canvas, that does the most like Moodle. I would say Blackboard, I don't think is. Blackboard bought Moodle pages so that they could get more stuff on Blackboard like Moodle. You wouldn't have bought them to get their programmers over to your deployment if yours was as good. Plus, it's $15 per year per kid. And again, Moodle's free. If you're a teacher and you just want to set one up for yourself, you can set it up on a PC in your classroom, and it would be intranet only in your school, but it's something that's totally doable. In fact, there's even whole download packages that fit on a USB stick that you can just run right off of that as well. So, something to look at. If you don't have an LMS, I highly recommend you get one. Does anybody have any questions for me? They're really loud over there.
He's just asking where to get the plugins.
Just at Moodle. If you go to moodle.org, that's where it says that all the plugins directory. You just click on it. I don't think there's anywhere else to get Moodle plugins other than plugins directory that I know. Yeah, right.
Do you use Google Classroom?
We do not. In fact, we are a Google district, and I have been really standoffish on Google Classroom. Not because I don't think it's it's a thin LMS at this point. It's continually growing, and I'm not saying that it won't become something great. You know, in Google, it either will become something great or they'll drop it completely. Those are two options in Google, right? There's like, no, we don't want to do that anymore. But I don't want teachers doing it because then it gets confusing. Where do you go? Moodle is the only place to go. All the classes are there. If we started doing Google Classroom, I think it would just get too confusing. So no, we don't. Does anybody else have any? Nope. Okay. Well, no. If you do your own server, we've got 1,500 on it for free. It's just if you want to do it for free and set up just a classroom, that's what that's talking about. I think it's if they host it for you. There used to be a couple different places you could set up a class and do students and just have your own Moodle class set up online on an online server. They limit how many students are allowed to do it. If you download and do your own install, there is no limit. And I will tell you, we have some fairly large classes with ours. Ours runs on a 500 gig solid state drive on an i7 is what ours is running on. And there's never a hitch, never burps or anything. So. Okay, thank you guys for coming. I'm not split screening again.